This situation was actually brought to my attention by a video from one of my friends, Alex from Podcast Now, who has several YouTube channels on this platform, and I'll actually link to his video on the same subject in my description because I think it's fascinating. And that's the fact that there is a petition to cancel Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, here's the thing. If this petition had 20 signatures, I would look at it, kind of go, huh, and scroll along. But I wanted to talk about this because I find this to be a fascinating case, the Assassin's Creed Shadows cancellation petition, because it reached something like 86,000 signatures at the time of recording this. And I do want to also stress that people should be able to exercise their voice on really anything. If you want to sign a petition, you can sign a petition. Hey, if you want to sign a petition that we all move to the moon, you can sign that petition too. But I don't really think it's going to do much. There are petitions that I have encouraged people to sign before, just because I think it gets your voice out there. So that's important. But on the principle of canceling video games because we don't like them, that's something that kind of frustrates me. And I wanted to talk about a couple of points around that I think are interesting and why I think this is a little bit hypocritical. If you do enjoy this video, you want to leave a like, subscribe for more content. I do make Assassin's Creed videos, I make superhero videos, I make all kinds of videos on this channel. I also have several other channels in my description down below. And you know what? If you want to support this channel, there's going to be lots of ways I'll show you throughout the video, including our Fortnite code, DJAY123. Appreciate you very much. Now here's the thing. There have been a lot of games I'm not interested in, a lot of games I think are stupid, and a lot of games that frankly I think are borderline offensive with some of the decisions that were made creatively. The difference for me when it comes to canceling art is that I already feel like we miss out on a lot of art. For me personally, when it comes to my morals, my morality, I am very much in the favor of free speech. I am very much in the favor of being able to create what you want. I don't actually think that those things have to match up with historical accuracy or with the world around us. It's fiction. Now, there have absolutely been cases where I think it comes off very ridiculous, but I think that a lot of the outrage around this is because of a buzzword that some people are going to get mad if I even mention on either side here, which is woke, which is the idea that essentially they put Yasuke, a black man, in samurai armor and status in this game for the purpose of having a black playable character. Now, this is something that I talked about previously in a video. I think I've talked about it twice. Both times people got mad at me for either not being angry enough at the people who are against it or not being in support of it enough, which I never really try and fence it. But for me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'd rather play as Naue for most of this game anyway. I mean, she's the shinobi. She's the one who's going to line up more with the assassin playstyle, right? A stealth, fighting when you need to, that kind of thing. This is a dual protagonist system. The same way that even though I personally prefer Evie Fry in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I would never advocate that Jacob be removed. Now, the difference between that game and this game is that obviously white people in England were a lot more common than black people in Japan. But I've also been playing through the Assassin's Creed series a lot recently. Recently been playing through Assassin's Creed 1, actually even on our Let's Play channel, Degenerate Plays. And I also played through Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, The Disappearance of Da Vinci recently. And something I've noticed with these games is that they were always what people now would call woke. They were always what people now would call left-leaning. I wouldn't say they were that in a super preachy way or anything like that, but I actually noticed that when I was playing The Disappearance of Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci pretty much came out as gay like 2 or 3 times throughout the story of it. I mean, it was pretty blatant. You actually work together with his kind of life partner, who's his assistant, and he kind of insinuates to Ezio, I should say, Leo does, insinuates to Ezio a few times that he's not interested in women. He even makes comments when Ezio says something about women being distracting, Leonardo mentioning essentially that they're not an interest of his, and then Ezio not understanding it. And it kind of was played off as a little bit of a gag, but this kind of thing happened a couple of times. Now, the point that I'm getting at is not to say that everything, politically motivated, whether it be representation, because I think there's good representation and then there's politically motivated representation. It's not to say that that's always a great thing. I mean, for example, in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I think there were several instances of ramrodded representation in the game. I mean, the fact that Peter has to go on a aside telling you how much he doesn't like guns and that gun clubs should not be in the cities was very obviously a politically motivated statement. The idea that in the game there were pretty much no police officers because people on the left got angry at the propaganda of the first game was a political statement. Those are things that I kind of point at, laugh at, and say that's dumb. But I wouldn't advocate that Spider-Man 2 shouldn't exist. I would just advocate that I don't like that part of it. My issue with this entire cancellation thing is the same thing. I think it's based on a lot of fallacies. It's based on a weird fallacy that Assassin's Creed was at any point historically accurate. There were elements that were, certainly. But unless I'm mistaken, I don't remember a Native American assassin helping the Americans, I should say, win the Revolutionary War. I don't remember really any of these things happening. I don't remember Isu. I don't remember godlike beings from the past or artifacts of insane scientific advancement from the past that contained maps and codexes and inspired inventions. I don't remember a man named Ezio helping perfect the recipe for coffee, something that is also brought up in Assassin's Creed 2. But you know what? Nobody really got mad at it because nobody was really paying attention to that stuff back then. People had more important problems. People had lives. People had things going on. People had conflict in the world that they were more worried about, which is weird because I would say the conflict in the world is only exponentially increased to the point where we're always worried about World War III, but these are the kinds of things people are worrying about. Now look, when they make a character like Tim Drake bisexual just to fill a quota, in my opinion, I'll talk about that. I'll take the heat for that. I got canceled on Twitter. I got called a homophobe for like 2 years. I got threats over it, things like that. I am not against voicing your opinion when things feel politically motivated just for the sake of it. My issue with Assassin's Creed Shadows, though, is I don't really see anything innately offensive about this that isn't just as offensive or just as ridiculous as every time there is an anime or video game that depicts America and depicts it completely in a wildly historically or modern day inaccurate lens. I don't care. And you know why I don't care? Because I don't see it as mean-spirited. The only art that I ever don't want to exist that I'm not interested in, for me, and this is where I'm not a free speech absolutist, is art that I believe is meant to ruin something. Art that I believe is meant to promote awful ideology. So for example, if we got Pedo Simulator 2024, I don't think that should exist. Movies like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, even if you enjoy it, I don't think that should exist. Now, it's not on the same level as Pedo Simulator 2024, but the reason I don't think something like that should exist is because it's purposely trying to take a beloved character and make it dark and gruesome. And honestly, I truly believe Jade people. Those are the kinds of things I don't think should exist. Or things that are purposely promoting racism, purposely promoting, I already said pedophilia, purposely promoting awful acts, awful attitudes. When it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, at the worst, I feel like this game is tone deaf. Because, as we already discussed, and I actually had an actual historian on this channel who has years and years of college experience with history, my best friend Nate, there's not enough evidence to say whether this guy was or wasn't an assassin, was or wasn't a samurai. That doesn't mean he can't be depicted as one. I've seen him depicted as one in countless anime, and I never saw that calling to be canceled. What people should be looking at with this game is some of the tone-deaf stupidity that Ubisoft has engaged in. Things like pushing their always online service, things like making their disc a coaster, which I talked about, which there should be outrage around. The fact that you need to put your disc in and then connect to the internet and do a download for that disc to even work, for that disc to actually play the game. That makes it pointless. But nobody really seems upset about that. Nobody really seems upset about the fact that Ubisoft stupidly used a historical reenactment flag in this game because they didn't do enough damn research on the era. They don't seem upset enough about the fact that they got certain facts wrong when it comes to the architecture. They don't seem upset about that. All of the discussion seems centered around Yasuke. Now, if people want to send a message about this game, here is my genuine advice to you as a cynical person who understands that the world revolves around money, even though I don't want it to. Don't buy the game. if you don't want to support this game. And absolutely, make your videos on it, make your exposés on it, make your articles on it, make your online posts on it. As long as they're not doing things like I've pointed out before, like comparing Yasuke to a monkey. That's idiotic, stupid, and there's zero moral high ground there. It just makes you literally look like a Neanderthal. What people should be doing if they have a problem with any of the things in these games is voicing it, which is why this petition is fine. I'm fine with it. But they should also just be voicing it with their money, with their wallets. When it comes to calling for art to be canceled, though, that's where I have a problem with this petition. That's where I have a problem with all of this. Something I noticed that, unless, like I said before, it's promoting actual real-world evil, I don't personally think that a black samurai is promoting real-world evil. I don't really see how it is. And someone could say, well, because it's taking the place of an Asian person. You know what? If you only played as Yasuke, maybe I'd agree with you a little more. But the fact that Naue is right there as a playable character and is the character that actually aligns with the Assassin's Brotherhood, the Assassin's values of stealth, whereas Yasuke is more of the tank character, more of the get-in-fights character, a lot of these criticisms I've seen are weird because to me, they're looking right through this playable character who is Japanese, who is an original character made up for the game completely, who is playable. I don't really think, and maybe this is just me, and I'm viewing it from a place of, whereas I do have insecurities, I think a lot of people are insecure about this. I think that a lot of people, for some reason, are put off by playing as something that they're not. I think in a lot of ways we've been spoiled by self-inserts, the ability to create a character or play as characters that are very much like us. As long as the character is well written, I don't care about these things. I don't care if I'm playing as a black woman. I don't care if I'm playing as an Asian man. I don't care. If this was taking the exact place and there was no Japanese playable character in here, I would understand these criticisms a lot more. But I actually find it odd that people are once again looking through the female playable character. And I also think that a lot of people who have made this opinion known don't really have any moral high ground to stand on. Something Alex mentioned that I find fascinating and I agree with is that a lot of the same groups, and I should say content creators and the loudest voices, maybe not individuals, maybe if your name is John Blake, little reference there, tell me if you get it in the comments down below. Maybe if you're John Blake and you sign this, we're not talking about you. Maybe we're talking about the biggest people, the content creators, the voices on Twitter, the people who lead the charge on this stuff over and over and over again. A lot of those people are the same people who are always defending the existence of other art, defending the existence of something like Hogwarts Legacy, which I also defend the existence of, despite J.K. Rowling's views that a lot of people don't agree with. Defending the existence of Stellar Blade, a game I absolutely love, by the way, despite the fact that it, shows off the female form, which at the time of it coming out was not a very popular thing to do in gaming. It was something that, a lot of political, left-leaning people would always speak out against. So it's sexist, it's whatever, she's just a piece of meat. What IGN France said in the stupidest way possible, and I'm not going to get the words right, about the creator of Eve very clearly being someone who had never felt the touch of a woman, even though the creator of Eve is a man who is very creative and also married to a gorgeous woman. So something that's weird to me about this is that I always see these things flip-flop. When it's something I don't like and I'm on the left, I want it canceled. I don't want it to exist. When it's something I like or don't like and I'm on the right, I want it canceled. I don't want it to exist. Whatever happened to just voicing your opinion, unless it's like this mean-spirited evil thing, and then buying or not buying the thing? Because at the end of the day, 50 million people could sign this petition, and if it's not going to affect the money, let's say 1 billion people bought this game, which is insanity. That's not going to happen, but let's just say it did. Well, they're going to look at that 50 million and think, who cares? I think a lot of people are getting way too soft on this stuff. Now, at the end of the day, if people want to actually talk about more stories that could be told in Japan, I would love some stories with a male Japanese samurai or a male Japanese assassin, as long as that character is written well. That's the same way before this game comes out that I feel about Yasuke. I feel like a lot of this is people being motivated by politics who are complaining and getting upset and wanting this thing deleted, not to exist. But it's ironic because their whole complaint is that this is motivated by politics and that its creation is. So which is it? You know, which side do you want? Do you want things to be motivated by politics or not? Because this change.org petition is as well. I guess it's just weird to me to see how the standards always change when the shoe is on the other foot. It's something I don't like, and it's something that I think we need some consistency on. I absolutely agree with you that when things are created like Jordan Peterson very clearly being a stand-in for the Red Skull in Captain America comics, that's stupid. You know, we can call that out, we can laugh at that, we can point at the creator of it and laugh at them a bit too. Don't send them any threats, anything like that, YouTube. I'm not advocating any of that. But to call against the existence of art, it's something so weird. And really only the worst cultures and the worst, I should say not cultures, but like the worst groups of people in history have been the ones to do that. Have been the ones to say, let's destroy art. Let's prevent this art from being made. Let's delete that art. Let's burn that art. Oh, that book is dangerous. Burn it. Oh, that's offensive. Burn it. You know, I remember when this used to be the other side doing it just a couple of years ago. And before that, a decade before, it was the other side doing it to other things. It just goes back and forth like a pendulum. And it's always when the shoe's on the other foot, I don't want that thing to exist because it bothers me. Voice your opinion, absolutely, but calling for art that isn't promoting any kind of evil to not exist is weird. Just don't buy it. That's really my whole shtick on it. I just don't buy it then. If you enjoyed today's video, you want to leave a like, subscribe for more content, I appreciate it. I'm sure this will get bombarded by dislikes and angry people who don't listen. Regardless, I guess that's the world we live in now. You pick your little bubble, you stay in it, and anybody who comes near it, you just ignore. I'm interested in your thoughts down below, though. Hopefully they are well constructed and actually reasoned out. If you don't want to support this game, you don't want to buy this game, I'm all for that. I don't care. I do not care. I don't even care if this game does well or not. I didn't work on it. I couldn't care less. But I think that calling for the cancellation of art is a very dangerous thing that should be reserved for actual evil pieces of media. We do have our Fortnite code DJAY123 that you can use to support this channel. We do also have our own store, CosmoBunny.shop, where we sell repurposed comic book and manga resin pieces. These are from damaged manga, damaged comic books. We take them, we save some of the paper, we actually turn them into new art transformatively for your home that we hope you can enjoy. And then as well, we do have handmade beaded jewelry over there too. Have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shui.